There we go. And then remember, just go down to that.
Oh yeah, go down to the little.
You got
thing.
it. Yep, that's the one.
Okay. Now I'm getting it. That's good.
Brilliant.
There goes the first 5 minutes of the presentation. Okay.
Brilliant. Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks for the invitation. I think as most people know, in the Greater Golden Horseshoe, all the municipalities are now reviewing their growth plan to accommodate growth between 2031 and 2051, with a deadline of July 1st to get that in. But during the pandemic, we've had a difficult time engaging the public. It's not been good doing virtual. They get lots of people, but they don't get good quality. And at the same time, we're doing a plan that is very consequential going out to the middle of the century. So it's more important that we do have public engagement at a time when it's more difficult. And of course, we want to kind of level a playing field with the development industry. So this presentation is about how to augment the voice of the public and get them involved. So Stop Sprawl Halton is, of course, dealing with Halton. You can see it here at the edge of the GTA, wedged between Peel and Hamilton. And Hamilton is an important part of this story because they were a little ahead of Halton in their I guess in their process. And we're getting to the end of it when they created Stop Sprawl Hamilton to fight back against the staff recommendation to bring in 3,000 acres of farmland. So they could be doing the same presentation as me. But when you look at Halton, just so you know, it's Burlington and Oakville in the bottom, Milton in the middle, and Halton Hills at the top. So the story of Stop Sprawl Halton. Well, about 10 months ago, let's say, the region was doing the public input virtually, and all of it was showing up that the public, 90% were in favor of a firm urban boundary. And people were putting in their submissions and so on, and it was over and over again the same thing. But on November 17th, the Halton Regional Planning staff presented to Regional Council at a workshop a preferred growth concept that did not have a firm urban boundary. It in fact converted over 5,000 acres of prime agricultural land to urban uses. So that's on the 17th. On the 19th, Hamilton had their mammoth council meeting. It went like 13 hours or something. But in the end, they were convinced to have to direct their staff to prepare a plan with a firm urban boundary, thus saving 3,300 acres of farmland. Well, I'd been involved in it. I knew what they did. I sat in on that meeting and I thought, wow, we got to do this here in Halton. So I contacted some of the people I know in the climate change area of things and said, like, do you think we could do the same thing? And they immediately said, yes, we can, we should. So to get started, we recruited a few more people. One of them was from Hamilton, from that incredible campaign. That was Michelle Tom, who really has a lot of energy and can keep people moving along. So she agreed to be part of the team. And one of the first things she said is, well, you've got to get a manager coach. A new idea to me. But she said, like, contact the Wellington Water Watchers and see if it's good fit to have them provide a coach. So we did that. We interviewed Mike Balkwell, who would be the coach, and decided, yes, he could really help us. We would have to pay him, and we didn't have money, but he wouldn't get paid till we made money, and he'd help us make the money. So it seemed like a good idea. So these things had to be done in a hurry. A budget was set on the back of a napkin, and these things had to, I'll get into these other things here. So you needed a clear goal, and here's the goal. We needed approval of a growth plan with a firm urban boundary to 2051. Plain and simple. And to get that, we needed to get 13 votes out of 24 at the regional council level. They would be making the decision. And most of those votes are in Oakville and Burlington, and that became the focus of our campaign. The date was set for endorsement of the growth preferred growth plan at a council meeting, a special one on February the 9th. It gave us 6 weeks to get organized and to convince 13 councillors to come on side. And we already had two. We had Councillor Best and myself, and away we went. So we need to get organized. Recruiting more people was very, very important, and establishing a core team to lead different components of our campaign. So then we needed a lead for fundraising, social media campaign, advertising, website, endorsements, lawn sign distribution, and delegate recruitment. We set up weekly meetings with a larger group of supporters on Tuesdays at 1, and everybody was invited, and we hoped more would come. We also had a weekly core meeting of the small group with the coach, Mike Balkwell, to set us up for the week and keep us out of the weeds. But the first priority was lawn signs, to get them out, to get visibility. It was Christmas time, but we did design them ourselves and found somebody who was still working and get them ready for January the 1st. And away we went. And the coordinator started to set up distribution to the 4 municipalities and had several people in each one. We ordered 500 lawn signs, even though we didn't have money yet. We financed them ourselves. And later we got 500 more, and now there's 1,000 signs out, or close to that. Seeking out expert advice, Michelle, again, had already been using the resources of environmental defense. We contacted their legal person, Phil Pothen, to assist us, and they were willing to provide that assistance, which was very good, because we had to have somebody who could interpret the Places to Grow Act that we were dealing with, and to show us how we could comply in ways that other people said we couldn't, but we could. And so that was helpful. And Phil also set up special meetings with different mayors and councillors to help them understand where we were trying to go. It's very, very useful. Listen to your coach. Yep. He kept us on track, kept us from getting lured down rabbit holes. You know, you always get somebody out there who starts to come at you, and it makes you fight back, and you start to go somewhere that you don't need to go, because we need to convince 13 councillors. We don't need to talk to people that we're not going to win over. And so that was great, kept us going. On internal communications with the team, we downloaded an app called Slack, and we invited other people to be on this, but some of it we kept just for a tight group. It meant that all the messages were visible to all of us all the time, and it kept it in a compact place, and it was organized. So the core team could talk back and forth with our coach, and we could pass ideas back and forth. I can't even imagine doing it on email. My head spins thinking of it. Of course, we needed to do 2 things. We needed to educate the public, and we needed to raise money, and decided to do them both at the same time in an event on January the 18th, which was only 2 weeks after we started getting organized. Came together pretty fast. The idea was to create a story that would tell people what we were doing and why we were doing it, why it was important, and how we were going to do it. So we wanted to get the top people we could find. And like you can see, Dr. Diane Sachs, there's the former Environmental Commissioner of Ontario, who could tell us the relationship between land use planning and the environment and greenhouse gases. And then Susan Lloyd Swale is an urban planner who could tell us, like, how do you do these towns and cities without spreading out, and reasons why it makes them better. Next was Phil Pothen, our legal man, to tell us about the Act. Dr. Linda Lukasik was from Hamilton to tell people, yes, this can be done, and here's how we did it in Hamilton. And then I got Margaret Walton, who had written the agricultural plan for Halton. She is an expert in agricultural planning and the agribusiness of Ontario. And we had a local farmer as well, to show that the farm community was on side. We had great entertainment, and you can see in this that we actually had Sarah Harmer, who is an environmental activist herself. But then we got to raise the money. So I gave these folks each got 5 minutes to tell their story, and then bang, get it going, get it going, get it going. But then Mike came on and said, now we got to raise some money. So who here will give us $1,500? You can just pledge it. Well, like nobody says anything, of course, but then somebody put in the chat, I'll give you $1,000. I'll pledge 1,000. And then somebody else 500, and then somebody else with $1,000, and somebody else with 20, and on it went. By the end, we had $15,000, which all got funneled through the Small Change Fund. So the money gets donated to Small Change Fund, and that generates a charitable receipt. And then all our expenses had to go through Small Change Fund as well. And we did have to pay them, but we felt it was a good way to keep track of things and to give that receipt. So the initiatives that we bought, well, social media is obviously a huge thing. It's practically the only way you can communicate right now with the public. And we flooded it and flooded it every day with new things and built up the sharing on the Facebook. Share, build it up, build it up. The messages came out fast and furiously. Every day was something new. So telling a different story. So the land on here, the red is the very best farmland. And you can see that right where we are above Lake Ontario. Thinking of the future of your children, the importance of agribusiness to the economy, of course, and sprawl and congestion and the consequences, all of these things. This is just a sample of what happened. And then we also started to go with newspaper ads in the 4 municipalities, followed up by radio ads. The website, we were driving everybody to the website, and the website was all about taking action. You can see even on this, the day before, 2 days ago, I guess, all hands on deck, like get out there, take action, call your councillor. Buttons on it to press just to contact your councillor or order a sign or whatever it was. It's all right there. So the first thing was flood the inbox. And so we worked with Wellington Water Watchers to have a button on the website. You click that and you could send an automated message to all the local and regional councillors. We varied the messages on the subject line, making them harder to deal with. I had over 1,000 emails in my mailbox. Some had up to twice that many. Endorsements, it takes a while to find endorsements. You know, these groups have to agree collectively to endorse us and to let us use their logo, but with a lot of work, we got them. You can see we've got the Halton Region Federation of Agriculture on there, which was really important to us to get that. Delegate recruitment was essential because whenever that meeting came, when the council was making the decision, we wanted a lot of people there making a case. So we searched out people with particular expertise, and then like we wanted somebody to talk about health, somebody else would talk about farming, you would talk about greenhouse gases, you'd talk about climate change or whatever it was. But we'd have the experts, but we would then have a lot of people that we wanted to just speak from the heart. As long as we covered all the bases. And
hey, I think the elevator's broken.
Hello, somebody else is on. So we needed to prepare our delegates as well, because a lot of them had never thought in their wildest dreams they would delegate at a council meeting. So we held a sort of webinar for them to give them some confidence, to tell them what to expect and how it was going to go. And we had about 50 people sign up for that, which was great. And we decided we needed 60. And guess what? We got 60. MailChimp, we were signing people up for our weekly mailings, approximately weekly. And, you know, if somebody signs up for a sign, then you got to get them on here. But the social media as well got us going. And we got 1,200 on the mailing list at latest count. Well, I said the people in the core group had never met each other, but we weren't getting any we weren't getting newspaper coverage. So we set something up and set up this photo op and got the reporter to come out in the middle of Halton so people could come from all directions and see each other for the first time. And finally got this article in all the Metroland newspapers. First indication of having an impact, 10 days before the meeting that was supposed to be where the council endorsed the growth plan, the meeting got canceled. Whoa, converted to a workshop on the growth plan. Clearly, we were having an impact to have that happen. It was amazing. But, okay, well, the 9th isn't the meeting. We got to pivot to a new message, tell people what's going on, and to say, like, we don't know when we're going to be delegating, but come live stream this meeting, this workshop. And then, of course, we continued to find more delegations. And we didn't know where that workshop was going to go. How was it going to end? Because council can't make recommendations at a workshop. But at the end, the mayor of Burlington and the mayor of Oakville both said they were going to work on a motion to bring to the next meeting of council, which was yesterday. So they had to get their motion together in 2 days, and it was published on the 11th. Okay, so we had to analyze the motion that they brought forward. Did it really do what we wanted it to do? You will remember our goal is to assign the population to 2051 within the urban boundary. This motion did that part way. I had assigned it to 2041. But what happens after that? Well, they were going to do some studying and then after a while assign that population, which didn't look good enough. So we went to work on that, but you know, now we know that it's only going to be in a few days when this is happening. And okay, what do we do about this motion? Well, we went back to the expert advice and started to work with the motion to come up with amendments to make it stronger. And in between February 9th and 16th, Stop Sprawl purchased $5,000 worth of radio ads and decided to have a pep rally on the 15th with a lawyer from Phil Pothen and the farmer representing the United Farmers Union and myself and Councillor Best. So we could describe what the motion looked like and where it was going to get us. We got hundreds of people signed up for this pep rally for Tuesday. We wanted to encourage the delegations, and so, you know, it really went well. Meanwhile, we worked on that motion, Councillor Best and myself, and finally we met with the CAO to find out that what we were doing wasn't going to work and had to pivot to something else, but we got there. So anyway, what happened at the meeting yesterday? Yes, we won. The vote was 15 to 9 in favor. But what did we get? Well, the staff were directed to prepare a new regional official plan amendment accommodating growth to pre-2041 with all that growth within the urban boundary. The next phase, 41 to 51, they would provide a clear framework on how to minimize land consumption. But it all had to be done, this distribution of that population, and defined before the 5-year review. So it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than where we were at. And we all owe this to what I call the dream team. These are the people that work day and night on this effort. People that haven't even actually met each other in many cases, but they did it. And they did work solidly on it. My takeaway points would be ordinary people can do extraordinary things. Citizens can change decision-making, but they have to get organized. Then you got to be in it to win it. No halfway measures. Total awareness and quick reactions were required, and we had to be fearless. We had to be, you know, bold, and we had to spend some money. Well, then earn it, find it. And we had to be firm on our goal. We never backed off of our goal. And that's how you get to success. So with that, I'd like to thank you.